welcome to the Fuel Podcast, man, where purpose, passion, creativity, leadership, and financial responsibility all collide in conversation with the intent to empower and inspire. I am your host, Tyrone McCrary, Senior Pastor, Kim Light Christian Ministries. And to my right, you see this gentleman. He's like our co-host along with my wife, Brett Smith.
Hey.
Is here with us again. And man, we have a special guest here today. A great brother, man, an awesome entrepreneur. Had to have him on this show. Brother Ty Washington, man. We are so blessed to have you here.
Thank you.
On the Fuel Podcast, man. And we're going to have a great conversation because one of the things I wanted to do, Brett, man, having Ty on here is to talk about, because this man, I don't know if you that joke about Jamaica. You Jamaican? Are you Jamaican, bro?
No, man.
You only got tree jobs.
No, right. This guy, man, he's always, I'm telling you, this guy. So I'm going to let him tell you how many businesses he got going right now. Matter of fact, Ty, come on, tell us a little something about yourself. And man, tell us, I wouldn't just say about your company because you got multiple companies.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit something about yourself, man.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. I feel very honored to be here to sit amongst such greatness this evening.
We'll accept that. We'll receive that.
Yeah, so just a little bit about me, man. I moved here from Detroit probably a little around 10 years ago now. And when I moved here, I was in the banking industry. I was a mortgage banker for probably almost 12, 13 years of my life.
Wow.
But anyway, long story short, fast forward, God blessed me and my wife an opportunity to open up. We ended up here in San Antonio, and I didn't get back in the banking business. I found out about an opportunity here in the water industry because the water here is really horrible.
Yep.
And there was an opportunity for me to do something to still provide for my family because I love to talk and help people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we ended up here. And, now I have moving here knowing nothing about water and now owning a water treatment company and an alkaline water store. God is, I'm blessed and I know it.
You got a store? I didn't know you had an alkaline water store.
Yes, sir. It's in the development phases.
Hey.
It's being renovated now.
Yeah.
So I had the building where my water treatment company is. God bless the man who was next to us. He ended up moving out.
Oh, man.
So we grabbed that space up.
Grabbed it up. So you got the water. What's the name of your water company right now? Is
The Waterman.
The Waterman.
The Waterman of San Antonio.
The Waterman in San Antonio, and then now renovating, you're gonna open up your water store, selling alkaline water and so forth. Now you were telling me earlier, what are some of the other? You got some couple other things going on too, man.
Yes, sir. Man, I've been blessed. I am an entrepreneur by heart. I love to create. So one of the other things that I'm involved in, I own a security company where we do home security and automation, with the cameras and all that jazz. I also have a air purification business because, just like the water is bad, the air is bad. So I thought it would be a great idea to offer, air treatment, with the water treatment. So those things are opportunities when I, get a chance to sit in front of customers to present, my water treatment business. I created a thing that I call my By the Way program.
Yeah. By the way, man, Ty, I tell you, man, you I don't know how you balance it all, man. Like, we're on this show and we're talking about entrepreneurs. We've talked about married in a business and how that works. We talked about knowing your why. Man, we've talked about the importance of mentoring and giving back and pouring. And now, man, I want to talk really on this show. I want to talk and get some feedback from you. And Brett, definitely want you to chime in on this. I want to talk about, man, the challenges, because you started a couple of companies, right? The challenges, man, in the beginning phases of this entrepreneur journey, right? Because I know, there's so many people that have an idea. We talked about it, even with your why, you're trying to work through it, and you can get it, man. You can be so excited. You're pumped up with your idea. You thought about your business plan, and then you jump out there, man, and it is not easy. And what I want to do is I want to make sure people remain encouraged and understand that that's part of the process, right?
Yes, sir.
Running into these challenges is part of the process. And the first one I want to talk about, and I know you had to experience this, is how did you deal with the beginning stages like of uncertainty of business. Like I know like entrepreneurs, man, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty. Some people think that just because you got the idea and you're gonna get it, like, you know, that's half the battle. And your why is, right? It is, but preparing yourself, like, okay, now you're out here, now what? Like, how did you deal with, or did you, I mean, I'm pretty sure you have, man, but how did you deal with that uncertainty, you know, in the process of establishing, say, your first company? You left the banking mortgage industry and you're stepping out there, right? And you're not even from San Antonio.
Not at all.
So how'd you deal with that uncertainty, man?
Well, I guess for me, man, you know, one thing I've never really struggled with is, you know, some people they struggle with fear. I'm not scared. I've never really had that as if I want to do something, I'm going to try it. And if I fall, you know, I'm okay with getting back up and just, you know, let me figure it out again. I'm that kind of, not everybody has that, and I did a lot of that moving here because I didn't have anybody here. You know, me and my wife were basically, you know, new to the lay of the land. And I didn't know anything about the water treatment space or the industry and all of that. So I literally from ground zero, you know, once I, you know, was introduced to it, you know, worked for a company, and they were actually out of Austin, and they had a guy down here training me who, he was just a sales guy. He had zero passion. He was just about the money part of it.
Right.
Well, from where I came from, you know, I've always been in sales now probably about 25 years in one capacity or another. So for me, talking to people is, you know, second nature, and where I feel like I'm helping somebody. But the struggles of trying to get this thing off the ground with not wanting to go the direction that company was doing, just being a sales company, it was really hard because I didn't have anybody else to reach out to, and I had to start moving away from that and start searching out other people and other things in this industry in order to get, you know, a foothold. And then that still took years. Yeah. Because it didn't just happen overnight that, you know, I became, you know, Ty the water guy, because when we first moved here, I didn't have a job. My wife was working and she was supporting us. Right. So that was its own struggle by itself, but her being, you know, supportive and saying, hey man, you know, keep on. It's not like I was going to stop, but she was knowing that she had my back. This allowed me to keep fueling, to keep moving, because it wasn't easy. Now
let's deal with this a little bit, because I think fear, like you said, we may not all be at that place where, okay, I'm not afraid to fail, but I think that if we take into account that sometimes failure is part of the process.
Yeah. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? That might help with that sense, that feeling of fear. If you come into it and say, look, man, every idea may not go right at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be willing to get out there and not feel dumb because the idea didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Or you try to thought. Like, I think that if we can embrace the fact that not everything will run smooth, and that is part of the process. It's okay. Yeah. You know, you're not a failure just because you tried the idea and it didn't work. Yeah. Like, you know, nobody starts, man, knowing everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody starts, like, you know, I mean, sometimes people are put in really good positions, you know, but I think even good mentorship, if you're mentoring somebody, you got to let them figure that portion out. Because if you start in business and everything works smooth, right? Everything, no challenges, no delays, no failure, I think you're setting yourself up for a big fall later. Yeah,
you got stamina. You ain't got no recovery. Yeah.
Well, I actually got in, you know, after, you know, being in the business a little, I ended up partnering with a guy who was who happened to be a master plumber, who was a master water treatment specialist, where I learned a lot of what I know today. But he approached me about partnering with him, you know, to start, you know, a water treatment industry or business. Long story short, he ended up booting me out the company and taking the money. Yeah, I mean, so I'm literally the accounts. I mean, nothing after nothing. What I mean. It was, I was devastated to say the least. But here, you know, it didn't stop me. I was devastated. But by this time, I had created some relationships with, the manufacturers, installers. So thus is when, Ty the Water Guy was
born from
birthed out of that, because I had, I created some relationships through what he had taught me and the people he didn't just introduce me to.
Right.
And, long story short, fast forward, now I'm in a business relationship with another partner of mine who's been in the water treatment industry for over 35 years. Wow. I call him the Moses of water. I mean, I'm still learning. But that bad place in my life in the water industry ended up turning, him leaving me in that place was, a bad thing, but it worked out for my good.
A lesson, like a learning.
Yeah, it worked out for my good, because I was able to, be able to understand it enough to where, my current partner, he just had a service repair industry, or he worked in the service repair industry in the water treatment. He didn't have a sales company.
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to build was a sales company. We ultimately end up combining our efforts, man, and I think our second year in business together, he and I both, I was working out of my car, at a little car, and he was working out of his truck. But we ended up, our second year in business, we had done 1.5 million.
Wow. Second year.
Our second year in business.
Can I have some, or is that
well, now I have 5 trucks and 2 office space. Okay. So we went from.
So yes.
Yeah. So it's been there are other things that come with, I'm looking for God to continue to bless us in that. But yeah, man, it wasn't,
So and then my point then is, man, you sometimes you just got to kind of endure the uncertainty, because like you said, second year in, man, you 1.5 million, and now you saying, man, you got what, 5 trucks, you said?
Yes, sir.
And 2 locations. Uncertainty that's part of the process.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, enduring, that's part of the process.
I wanted to ask you too, just kind of off what you were saying, the uncertainty. How did you overcome that, like, that family aspect? Like, I think about going out and just fully investing into whatever I wanted to do, and the first thing that always pops in my head is, I got a family. I can't take certain risks, but I know people that do it, and I'm just sitting there like, man, bless y'all, but it gives me anxiety to think about that. Like, how do I do that?
Yeah, so I guess for me, man, because of where I'm from, Detroit, bro, we gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And the blessing for me, man, is having a wife that was supportive, and the water business, I've had all types of little crazy businesses. That's just who I am. Yeah. I'm a creator in that, and not all worked. This happened to work. Yeah. And in all the other crazy things I've, tried to do, she's always been supportive. And I'm always cautious. Don't misunderstand me that I just, take what she's making and I'm just trying to flip it. And no, as I earned the little bit that I was earning, and trying to get my business going, I was trying to be a good steward of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to, she took care of the major stuff, and I had to figure out the rest.
Wow. But though, man, that's the other thing, though, bro. Like you said, like not all of them worked, but you kept like chipping away until you found that one thing, like that worked. And it's funny because I listen to you, Ty, and some people, like, their why is frying chicken. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, oh, I love chicken. I'm frying chicken. But it sounds to me like your why is just being an entrepreneur, like a creator and an entrepreneur. Like, you love creating. And sometimes you can look at people like, man, they're doing this business, they're doing that business. But the more I've met someone else like that, it's like, no, I just love to create.
Right.
Like, they can do a business and it's great. Like, I'm selling it. Like, man, it's doing great. I want to do something else. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, and I wanted to bring that out because there may be somebody out there that's you, and you probably think you like, I'm weird, or people are saying that, man, no, you can't do that. Because I've talked to some people like, nah, that's just too many business, man. How can you be, a master of something? You're just like a jack of all trades, like you're just kind of all over the place. But if that's who you are,
right?
If I am a creative and I like creating business and creating opportunity for people, and I'm not attached to what I created, because I have so much more that I want to create. You see what I'm saying? And I think if you're not careful, we can misunderstand people like that. And I think that we also have to encourage, because there may be other people like that. Like, I thought it was this, I thought it was that. Or they tried something and it failed and people told them to quit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, told me to get up, and maybe I'm a creative. That's what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mind. I mean, because I was listening to this a while back, a podcast on cryptocurrency, and it had a guy on there, and the guy was like, I am a is it called serial entrepreneur? I think that's what they call him.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, like what I do, man, is I just create businesses, and he sold like 5 of them, but he made like 8 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the thing. So I for anybody out there, man, I really want to encourage you to just, if that's you, you might have found it. You know what I'm saying? You might have found it. Let me say this now, Todd, because this is the next thing. It takes, what I'm hearing too, man, is it takes a lot of confidence and courage. Let's say that. It takes a lot of courage and belief in yourself and your dream, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, sir.
in really stepping out. Like, have you ever had to battle with self-doubt? Like, going through a lot of that. Like, have you ever just been in a place, man, where you battled with self-doubt in any situation like that?
Well, absolutely, man. You know, a lot of people don't know. I probably mentioned it a few times to the family here that, you know, I struggle with dyslexia.
Oh, wow.
So I have some challenges that, you know, sometimes it takes me a little longer to process or get through things.
Right.
Because that used to be a shame more so than a fear, because I didn't want people to know that I struggled with that. But once I was able to, man, just, you know, kind of own it, this is what I deal with, and, you know, you let people know, then you have people who are willing to help you in that place where you're short.
Yeah.
It's not being scared to let people know that there's a shortcoming, and here's what it is. I need some help right here, but you can get me past this, or I can take it the rest of the way.
Yeah. That's funny, because when we talk, a lot of times you always tell me, like, I'm not creative. I'm relying on you, or I'm relying on this. I'm not creative. And it's so funny you say that, because like that other people thing is a definite key whenever it comes to like, hey, well, that's fine. I don't have to be this because you are. But then I was sitting there thinking and listening. I was like, man, you are creative. You be creating opportunities. You create businesses. You know what I'm saying? You might not be a painter, but like, it's just a crazy thing that what might seem like a weakness is something that you're actually very good at, just from a different aspect. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's amazing.
I receive that, man. So in my assembling, because of my shortcomings and my entrepreneurial efforts, having to plug up with people that are knowledgeable about, you know, hey, I can tell you exactly what I want, the direction I'm going, and what my end result, what I'm looking for at the end of this, because I can't do all those steps. I am okay. Me and Apostle was talking about this earlier. Like, man, you got to be okay to give some up. You know, I don't have to make 100 right now. I can make a little bit right now, but once I get it rolling, then, you know, and I'm okay with everybody eating along the way.
Well, man, it's funny because it sounds to me like, so part of overcoming the self-doubt is being honest with where you come up short, and then being willing to partner with people, right, that can make up the difference. So even in that's another nugget in itself, is that we'll all, instead of, because sometimes, man, you know, like we try to mask self-doubt with, you know, well, I'll figure it out myself, and you know, or you don't want anybody to know that you may be weak in any particular area, and so you still struggle. You just ain't telling nobody you struggle with self-doubt, right? And I think that can really affect your business. That can affect how you deal with people. That can affect your harmony and your chemistry with people.
Or you can even mess some up completely because you're trying to do the thing that you're not good at doing. And find yourself messing it up.
And not be as good as you can do, especially when you're talking about business, right? When you're talking about business, man, like I think that's very powerful. And it's a tip that hopefully people will embrace and understand, that you don't have to know how to do everything. You just got to be willing to find the right people, be good at what you're good at, you know, always remain teachable. That's something I learned. Always remain teachable. But at the same time, man, be willing to split the pie. Right, be willing to work with people and split the pie. All right, so this is another one I think is important, because I'm listening to you. multiple businesses, being a serial entrepreneur, right? I mean, creating so many different, businesses. But have you ever struggled, man, with like curbing like impatience? Like, okay, so you're starting a business and you like, yo, I need this to happen like now, like trying to do too much too fast.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm guilty of that right now. Everything that I'm doing right now, I think there's great possibility for everything that I'm doing. So my methodology now is to break them all down and give them their own individual time and attention, because right now I'm not interested in adding anything else to my plate. There are other things that come to mind and I just rebuke it. Because right now it's not the time for it, because I have to master what I have in front of me before I can proceed with anything else. And once I feel that that's there, then I can, place people in those places, and then I can move on to something else.
So,
do you feel like you found a comfortable spot where you say, I'm not going to pursue anything else until this is done? Or do you ever, because I think about when you have that many ideas, not many opportunities, like just ingrained in your purpose, how do you make that judgment call? Like, this is where I need to go, this is where I don't need to go. But it's not that it's a bad idea or a bad business, just not the time for it now. Like, how do you make that decision-making process?
Well, man, I really, try to lean on, my past experiences, because, the human part of me, I feel like I can do so much more. But I know the other part of that, I can get too much going, like I'm guilty of now, and things start falling through the cracks. I don't want to experience that, because I've done that in the past. I just had so many things. I'm trying to do so much. Then you start losing money. Because you got so many irons in the fire. And you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm trying to, this business, got to finance this business. So it's a lot of crossover. So the blessing for me, my water business has been able to sustain a lot of my ventures, and being able to seed into my other other things that I do. And that was the important thing. I like to call it my foundational piece. The water industry is my foundational piece, and everything else revolves off of that.
That's what's up, man. Let me ask you this then, because that brings me to the next, I think, big challenge for anybody starting out, whether it be not necessarily but even one business. When you're getting out, and depending on what you're doing, man, like, how did you tackle the lack of capital? You talked about coming out here, with your wife, and you was working in the mortgage business, and boom, you jumped out. But how do you tackle that? Like that's probably one of the biggest discouraging, obstacles for many people, entrepreneurs, when they're trying to get out, is not having that bread to get going.
So fortunately, my first deal, just talking water, when I got here, and my first opportunity when I went on my own, that I had to buy water softeners myself to install in a customer's house. Well, I had a credit card. It didn't have much on it. It had enough on it for me to at least buy the water softener and for me to pay the installer. God gave me, that was my first, and I was able to, at that point, then manage, having some seed to be able, I didn't always have to use my credit card, because I had seed now to be able to go. Until I built, because I would tell people, man, I was selling water softeners out of the trunk of my car like people sell CDs. But that was how I started.
Right.
I couldn't even carry water softeners. I didn't have a truck.
Right.
So I had to have my installers go pick the equipment up, because I couldn't go get it to bring it to my customer's house.
But you steward it though. It sounds to me like whatever little bit you had, you steward it well enough to build momentum, right?
Yes, sir.
Financially, and that's the one thing, man. I would tell anybody, like, don't. I really feel, especially if it's your why and the creativity, I think that any of us that are destined to do this thing, The resources are there. We can't try to, but we got to be careful. And I always say this, but you got to win on your level. And your level may be $50.
Man, that's
you know, your level may be, you know, $500 on a credit card. Now, the stewarding part is that if you spend that $5, you make that money, pay that debt off, so you don't establish yourself in the red. Because credit is a part of business. Many people, you know, getting out, you get your business loan and those things, and I think you got to be smart in that approach. But what I heard, the most important part is, because there'll be people out there like, oh, okay, water softener coming. All right, I got to go buy a truck.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm gonna put it in my trunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, man, like I salute that, because that's like, no, I'm not gonna get in too much debt in what I'm doing, but I can still get the job done. You know, and then also being a relational person, because you know, you like, okay, this dude sell me water softener, but he pulling up out of his car. Like, how good is this water softener, man? He's taking out the trunk of his car.
But that's that confidence, that's that courage. Like, hey, you know, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm bringing you what I know and what I believe in as a quality product.
And I'll stand behind it.
And people will buy that no matter what it shows up in, you know?
And good, because, you know, I don't know how a lot of do you get a lot of your business like by word of mouth, man? Like when it comes to marketing, like what's a lot of
Apostle, man, I'm so blessed. It's unbelievable. The 95% of my business is word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, my first entry into the business, I used to have to go out and door knock.
Right.
Door to door. Man, I haven't door knocked in years.
Wow.
I haven't door knocked in years. And you know, all praise to God for that. But I'm thankful for having to do that.
Right.
And I have a whole nother appreciation for those who do it. You know, that's, you know, your entry into the game. That's how I had to do it. And a lot of people.
Man. Taking the
stairs.
Taking
the stairs.
And, you know, now, and then we're blessed that, you know, I'm really passionate about the customer service component that we have, that my office is calling, you know, trying to see how my guys, how did I do on the sale? How did my other salespeople? So I do a thing we call happy calls. And the happy calls are basically so that after we do a job, I want my office to call in good, bad, or ugly. How did we do? Yeah. If we did, you know, a 5, would you go and give us a review? But anyway, long story short, that has worked out that I have, you know, I'm at that 4.9 in Google ratings right now.
That's what's up.
So people now that are Googling, you know, my name we come up there pretty high now. So I got like 5 calls today for water softener appointments.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's happening more and more and more.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there.
Yeah.
I was just, because I remember whenever we got ours installed, actually, you would ask me and Lisa, and it was what I love, and I think that what's helping that process is that you're a very transparent, honest person. So whenever you came and we did the install, and afterwards you said, hey, listen, if you liked it, leave a review. If you didn't like it, leave a review. But it helps whenever you leave reviews. And I think it was just really cool. It made us comfortable with the purchase we had just spent to get the water softener and the, you know, the alkaline water and all that. And then when we went on to go do the review, and all we saw was, you know, 5-star, 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 great work, you know, great person and stuff like that. So,
you know, what I want to say about that, man, I think, and hopefully this is something that you guys can take, is that when you are taking the stairs and you're working that initial grind, like, man, your customer service or your being a people person, right, is so critical and so important, because you may have to work out the back of your car. You may not have all of the show that everybody may have as far as how the business looks, but if you're great with people, right, and you steward those relationships well, like you said, you get to a point, man, where from a marketing standpoint, like you said, I haven't had the door knock in a minute. Like all mine have been referrals, and then you get these ratings, these 5-star and 4.9 Google reviews. I mean, man, I think that speaks to how you took the stairs, like your process and your step, and how you steward it, you know what I'm saying? Like that well. And like I said, you may not have all the capital to do all these things, but you do have your own integrity. You have how your own brand, right? How you brand yourself and how you do business. And I know for sure, man, like I've worked with or had people or companies, man, that's got this big old name, and their work and they treat you like you are nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't need your money. But then you get others that they may not have all this glitz and glam, but you like, yo, I'll call them in a heartbeat, and I'll refer them in a heartbeat, because of the excellence by which they do what they do, like the heart behind what they do. And I think that's so important, because sometimes when you don't have capital, you do have your name.
Yeah.
You know, and you do have, you know, the excellence by which you can present and do what you do. And sometimes, man, that can open up doors.
Oh, absolutely.
In the long run, right? Yep. I mean, like that, to me, man, that is powerful. Hopefully that's something that everybody can get. Now, let me ask you this question. I think this is a big one too, for those starting business. And there's the thing, and I was researching this, man, and this was me for a long time. It's called analysis paralysis. You ever heard of that?
Yes, sir.
You know, like you, and I think every entrepreneur kind of runs into this, man, where we always have a lot of choices that we got to make or you're going to make. Like, how do you overcome that, man? Like, especially with these businesses that you got and what you're doing, where you're not over-analyzing decisions, because I think you can miss opportunities, especially if you're getting started. Or that, like, okay, I got to do this. You overthink this, and I got to think this through, and I got to do this. And you do, but at some point, you got to take the first step.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's so many, and if speak to that, man, for the entrepreneurs out there with all the ideas, and you know, it's that fear of doing business, you know, when you're always analyzing everything. Like, how'd you overcome that?
Well, you know, I guess my personality, man, I'm not I guess I don't consciously overthink anything, but I do know when it's when you're, you know, am I going to pay this bill, or am I going to go, you know, buy this water softener, so to speak? Yeah. So in my world, because of my confidence, you know, I'm about to go flip this money. Because I know I can do it, but if I stop and overthink it, like, man, if, you know, got to buy the baby some milk, but if I flip this water softener, I can get her 2 bottles. Yeah. So for me, you know, maybe a little different for me than others in that, because I won't overthink it too long when I know what I have.
Yeah. Right.
My confidence, man, sometimes can get me in trouble, and I'm guilty of that, but I don't have that, you know, I don't get stuck in a mode. If I feel I'm confident, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Win or lose. I feel that I can do this, and I'm gonna flip this.
So you going all in.
Man, I think that's so dope. It's like I think a lot of the most successful people in the world have always been like, at the end of the day, I'm betting on me. Yeah. Period. No matter what comes from it. And I think, you know, did you guys watch Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah.
Will Smith? Yeah. And I think about that a lot, the way he have acquired all those light X-ray machines. And he was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. And he did that. And it came from a lot of stuff that you were saying. Like, he bet on himself whenever it came to being able to be a salesman, even whenever he got that job at the brokerage firm. Yeah. Everything that he did, he invested in. I know what my talents are. I know the product I'm selling, and I know the potential that I have. So whenever it comes to that last dollar and you got to choose, like, is it going to be, you know, milk for a day or 2 gallons of milk for a week? You know,
right, exactly.
You're not scared because you understand and recognize the potential that you have when you bet on you. You know,
it's funny y'all say that, man. I got John Maxwell has a thing. When I did my certification, he has a saying, man. He's like, jump, build your wings on the way down. Yeah. You know,
I love that.
And it's pretty much in essence saying the same thing. Like, look, at some point, you got to jump. Mm-hmm. Like, and don't get me wrong, you know, you got to you get your business plan together. You know, you build that infrastructure, but if you're not careful, you can get so stuck looking at that that you're not doing business. And that's the whole purpose for starting your business, is to do business. And at some point, you have to do business. Yeah, exactly. I had one mentor, one guy, and he was like, I was like, I got this. He said, you got a social, don't you? I was like, yeah. He's like, then do business, man. Yeah. You know, we can work the other stuff, but do business. Like, don't, or I got to get this, got to get, like, first, you got to get that, you got to develop your market. Yeah. And you got to do business. What are people paying you for? And I think it's important for that aspiring entrepreneur out there, is like, look, don't get stuck analyzing the data too long. Yeah. Yeah. You know, at some point, you got to jump and you build your wings on the way down.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was talking to Brian he was on the show, TK Realty. Yeah. And we talked a long time ago about me going full-time video. And that was kind of one of those things that he was telling me. He's like, man, at some point, you just have to make that decision. You just got to make that decision.
Yeah.
I still haven't, because I'm terrified of not. If y'all met my wife, I got to keep her nice and keep stuff nice for her. So, but I think about Christian. Yeah, Christian. My kids too.
Absolutely.
My kids too. Them. But we were moving some stuff around the house the other day, and we were like trying to map out where we're gonna put. We were rearranging her office, my wife's office, and there was some, we're gonna put this desk here, put this, the printer there, whatever. And at one point she was like, I don't know, let's just put it in there, and then I'll feel it out after a while. And I feel like that mindset is just so critical, right? Let's get in there, because you won't know until you start doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can get mentored, you can get taught, you can get counseling. But you're not gonna know everything until you actually make that move. Yeah, and I feel like that's a big aspect to building that business.
You don't get all the answers up front.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them, and I'm still learning. What I'm saying now is, just when you think you know something, you don't know nothing. Right. Just when you think you figured it out, something else changes. Yeah, and you have to be okay with that and just create whatever. Getting that foundation under your feet is so important, though. Being able to have mentors or people that you can trust, that you can always reach out to. That when you don't know the answer, know that somebody knows it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody knows the answer, or can get you to a person that knows somebody who knows somebody. Yeah. And
no.
Yeah. So that's important. Just having a network. That's why this fuel thing is so powerful, man. My thing is, I'm really hoping that people get out of this, that you have people that are willing and want to help. Yeah. We want to see you win.
Yeah, man.
We have people in place that, where you are, where you think you are, if somebody else is there and have been there, and they're in another space on the board now. Yeah. Everybody's always moving. So there's a place or a question that you have that we can't get an answer to. So just move, just go. Yeah. Become a part of this until you're comfortable and get the information you need. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's fuel. We want to be able to fund into people. Yep. You got a vision, you got a dream. Let's help you structure it so that you can get it off the ground. Yeah. But you got to move. If you don't move, we can never do anything to help.
Yep. It's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, man. It won't move. And the other thing, man, I just want to add this: as you're going, credit has been very, very important to me. God told me a long time when I moved here, my credit score was really poor. This is a testimony, man. I give all glory to God. We had some financial struggles. We moved here and everything wasn't, good. But long story short, my credit score had tanked to, I think I was below a 500.
Whoa! Wow!
It was ugly, man. It was ugly. But long story short, God told me, he said, my thing is I wanted to be, I got on this integrity thing. I was trying to get closer to God in my relationship, and integrity, how I wanted to represent my business, or what I wanted to do different. What makes me different than any other water treatment guy. Right. So I wanted to have integrity. I wanted to be truthful. God said, well, let your credit score match your integrity.
Man. Wow. Y'all are not ready for that.
Wow. Let your credit score match your integrity. Yeah. So I have a testimony, man, because from then to now, I have an 800 credit score.
Wow.
Because I wanted what I'm saying. I wanted everything to align. Yeah. I wanted to be that. Not just, this is a good guy. I wanted everything to align. Yeah. The same guy you see here in church is the same guy you see in the house. I pray with my customers. I minister to my customers. That's where I want to be, even outside, the building of church. This is where we come to gather, but that's where the ministry happens out there.
Yeah. You know what was powerful about that, Ty, is I think when you talk about credit score or integrity in business, I think that is so important if we're going to do it, because, man, your name. Right, the Bible talks about a good name, right? I think it says better than silver and gold is a good name.
Yes, sir.
And that's really what a credit score is, right? Yeah. It's a good name. It's a good name. And I think to really be a kingdom entrepreneur, you got to have a good name. I had a good friend of mine, Wade Moore, man, he always talks about, man, like, he's like, you know, he said, he challenged me, he said, man, share your vision, but don't share your vision just with priests. Make sure you share your vision with kings.
Yeah, man.
He says, because kings will fund your vision. But what I've learned is that a good name is important in front of kings.
Yes,
they
sir.
got to know that you are good for it. They got to know that your integrity's there. They got to know that you are a great steward. And I'm telling you right now, if you're going to start this thing and you start your entrepreneurial journey, make sure, man, that your integrity is on point. Make sure, as we said, even if it's that credit card you got to use, pay that bill. Because I can attest, just from some of the ventures that we've been doing, you know, as a church in business, Kingdom Life has a good name outside of the church world.
Yeah.
You know, we have a good name with banks. We have a great name with people, you know, venture capitalists and people who want to help support and do the things we do.
Yeah.
So when they know, oh no, they're on point when it comes to business. Like, yeah, they pray, they shout, they do those things. But when it comes to business,
Their books.
you know, when it comes to the books, you have a great name.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's so important. So if you starting, man, you want to start right. You want to apply all of these principles, everything that we talked about today, and coming down to, man, integrity. And I think that will help you overcome a lot of beginning obstacles and challenges when you're doing that. The last thing I want to say, man, before we wrap this up. Oh, go ahead.
I want to jump in real quick on this integrity thing, because I think even like with my business and my wife's business, the integrity is important because integrity comes with the cost.
Yes.
And what I mean is, you know, when I've done videos for people before, I've had to pull back videos that I didn't think the quality was good enough. They probably would have never known. Right. I could have got my money from them or whatever. My wife, she's done products where she's, you know, seen like a little ghosting on the shirt when she makes shirts. And she's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, babe, they won't even notice that, you know? But integrity comes with the cost. And I think that's something that people got to be prepared for.
Yes.
Is that if you are going to pursue integrity, you got to do it all the way through.
Yes,
I'm sure you've lost deals because you weren't willing to do things that,
absolutely.
You know.
I was just sharing, I lost one of the biggest real estate, one of the biggest real estate offices here in San Antonio here. I won't call their name, but because what they were allowing some things that happening in their organization. I said, well, that's not integrity in what you're doing, man. You're not, I don't want to be associated with that because of my name.
Yeah.
And I was giving him a corrective way. He said, look, all you got to do is this to fix this, and we can go ahead and move forward. Something minor. In so many words, well, no, this is my business, and I'm okay with it. I said, well, I'm okay with leaving.
Wow.
And after that, man, I've been busier.
Yeah.
Because I won't chase money. My father told me this years, man, before he died. I mean, I remember saying, if you're chasing money, you're going to forever be running.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You will always be running.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I take that to heart, man, because I've been blessed here at Kingdom Life, man. I love my church. I love what I do here. And I've been blessed to help so many families here. Y'all don't know, some Sundays I look around and look at the church standing, and I look like, all these people. I look at the families that God has blessed me. I did all these people water softeners or their security. I'm like, and I still go to this church.
Yeah. Right. which means you gotta have
you got a good name.
Because if you didn't, they'd be like,
yo, don't deal with that brother right there. You know? Don't deal with that brother right there. Man, look, man, I think this is a good place to end it, man, because there was so many nuggets. One, man, that uncertainty and fear, you know, and knowing that failure is part of the process, man. You got to get out here and you got to try. You know,
yes, sir.
You got to try. One, and then just like we talked about, man, the confidence that comes behind that, you know, and doing that, and then, you know, being a good steward when it comes to lack of capital. Everybody's been there. Now, yes, there's some people that might start. Somebody just, you know, put a bunch of chunk of change in their hand and doing it, but that's not the norm. Some people got to build it, you know, from the ground up. Yeah. You know, we call getting it in the mud, you know, and it's okay. So don't grow discouraged. And the last thing, Ty, and I'm pretty sure you've had with the businesses that you do have, how important is it, and we'll leave them with this, how important is it, man, to have a good team, to be able to manage and have some of the right people in place when you get to that point. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you start with just you and another person, but as you expand, you know, to be able to handle it successfully, you got to have a good team.
Oh, man, that is probably one of the, you know, top tier things that I would put on my list of surrounding myself with people that first that are like-minded. You know, the people in my office, I meet with them all the time and share my heart as far as what I'm looking for. The end result is not about the product we sell, but satisfying that, having a good product and satisfying, doing a great job. That's really important, that they have that heart to want to do the right thing. My installers, man, don't shortcut. Do the right thing, because all that stuff, it adds up at the end of the day. So surrounding yourself with a team of people that they can see your vision and share your heart and want to deliver that. Yeah. That's important. It doesn't, you know, some people you have to groom to that because they're in their own way. But at the end of the day, this is the direction. This is my company. This is the direction we're going. If you don't want to do that, then, you know, you can go work for somebody else. Yeah. And you have to be okay with that, but you have to find people that fit in your vision and in your plan, because if not, man, I mean, it's already going to be, the rocky road. You know, I tell if we don't get the get out of jail free card, I had that conversation with somebody today. I mean, we still have to go through. Yeah. Because even being in that jail, you know, the Paul and Silas story, for those who know the Bible story, man, it was a purpose for them to be, to go there, because they had to deliver others. If they never went there, we wouldn't have that story. Right. And then the deliverance of the people that, so it's that thing, having people that get your heart and your mindset and want to work toward that. And love that. That's how you build a team.
That's what's up. Well, look, man, hopefully you guys have taken away, man, taken from this some great points, understanding that there will be challenges, there will be obstacles, especially at the beginning of this journey, and truthfully, man, throughout the journey. But if you'll take these things to heart, realizing that it's part of the process, man, I believe that you can set yourself up and put yourself in position to be very successful at whatever it is that God has put on your heart to do. So look, man, until next time, man, we're here for you guys. We're looking to empower you. More information to come about the Fuel Network, which is a partnership, a team of entrepreneurs with the same heart, same mind, trying to move in a direction, man, that's gonna, at the end of the day, for us, it advances the kingdoms and advance the kingdom and adds value to people. That's why we're here, is to add value to people, man. We love y'all. We'll talk to you soon. God bless. Make sure y'all be ready and subscribe, right? Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this. Don't
turn on your notifications.
Come on, turn on notifications, man, so you know when this is coming out. Let it add value to you so you can be a blessing to somebody else. All right? We love y'all, man. God bless. Talk to you soon.